So recently we've seen an increase of grapplers at the top of the UFC, and it feels like it was just 1 year ago where we had like 5 out of 8 champions with a style based around striking, but today it's literally completely different. Like I think 5 out of the current 8 champions have a style based around grappling, and with Merab and Bilal becoming champions, especially after Merab beat O'Malley, the topic of grapplers ruining the UFC has been brought up quite a lot. And this is something that the fan base is very split on. It feels like one camp is pretty anti-grappling in general, and another camp will call you a casual for not finding Merab's fighting style entertaining. So in this video, I've decided to break this down and give my take regarding if grapplers are ruining the UFC. And first, let's give some background. Like 1 year ago or something, a lot of champions were strikers. Good times, okay? I was seeing videos of how strikers were taking over the UFC and all that, and it was pretty surprising how most of the champions were strikers, because traditionally, when a grappler fights a striker, the grappler wins most of the time. But now it's back to grapplers dominating the sport again. So I think it's safe to say that it kinda goes in cycles, and in recent years, we have also seen a lot of fighters from the Caucasus region getting signed to the UFC, and a lot of fighters from that region have a background in wrestling or combat sambo. So a lot of these fighters are grapplers, which basically means that we have a lot more grapplers in the UFC, and naturally that is going to lead to more grapplers becoming champions. And that's where we're currently at, and since Merab won the belt and defeated basically a pure striker in O'Malley, the MMA fans are going to war with each other. And I'm gonna be completely honest, I see a lot of fans waffling about how you're a casual if you don't find lay and prey grapplers entertaining, cause it's a part of the sport, dude. And honestly, it's so lame how so many people are trying to out-hardcore each other. Like, I have no clue how anyone can find that stuff entertaining. It's the most boring crap I've ever seen, and we don't have to pretend it's entertaining, cause it's not. And not enjoying certain aspects of the sport does not make you a casual. Like, you're allowed to dislike certain things, and just cause I dislike certain styles of grappling doesn't mean I despise grapplers or grappling in general. Those who know me know I used to be a massive Khabib fan, cause he'd actually tried to hurt his opponents. I'm also a huge fan of Charles Oliveira, another grappler who doesn't just stall out positions on the ground. However, to critique the other side a little bit, I've seen some people say that Makhachev is boring, for example, and that's where I draw the line. If you think Makhachev is boring, you're just a casual, dude. The guy is banger fights. I think the real problem are those lay and prey grapplers. I'm talking about the grapplers that you don't want your parents walking in on you watching, and sadly those fighters are becoming a lot more common. Like, we already got Merab and Bilal as champs. By the way, I think it's pretty funny that Bilal is champion, but if Ankalaev or Movsar Evler becomes champ, which is not unlikely at all because they're very skilled fighters, I'ma crash out. I might just become the kickboxing realist, to be honest. But let's get back to the question. Are grapplers ruining the UFC? To be honest, I don't think so. I think grappling could definitely be entertaining and exciting to watch. But I'm talking about the grapplers that actually get submissions. I'm talking about the grapplers who cause damage to their opponents with vicious ground and pound. I'm talking about the grapplers who get into exciting scrambles. The grapplers who just lay on their opponents, doing just enough to not get stood up, are really a pest though. I understand that they're very skilled fighters and it's a part of the game, but it's straight up ruining the entertainment aspect of the sport. And when it comes down to it, the UFC is kind of more entertainment than sport. Which explains why Dana White was so pissed after UFC 306. Merab won, and Dana White knows most people don't find Merab entertaining. Striking will always appeal more to the casual audience because it's flashier and overall just more visually pleasing. I feel like to be able to appreciate good grappling, you almost gotta have some type of understanding of it, which the casual fanbase doesn't have. So naturally grapplers won't be as appealing as strikers to the casual audience. Although there are some exceptions like Khamzat Chimaev, for example, who has a very explosive style of grappling. And to be honest, I think most of the hardcore fans also find strikers more entertaining, so it could be an economic hit to the UFC if more grapplers start dominating the sport. However, at the same time, there's still somehow a fanbase that do appreciate the positional grappling style. So I don't know, man, but I know for a fact that the general interest in the sport is gonna drop if more of these positional grapplers start dominating the sport. Simple as that in my opinion. Call me a casual, but my interest is definitely gonna drop. So I guess when you say grapplers are ruining the UFC, it's not actually true, but it's not exactly wrong either. In my opinion, I think it would be more correct to say that positional grapplers that lay on their opponents are sort of ruining the entertainment aspect of the sport. And honestly, I think a great way to combat this is to legalize knees to grounded opponents, cause then you first of all is able to punish grapplers for failing takedowns, but will also give more strike options for grapplers. So I think it would make grappling a lot more entertaining, and at the same time it would also punish a lot of these positional grapplers for failing takedowns. And I also want to add this at the end, it's also partly the fault of strikers, like y'all gotta get some better takedown defense too. But I think that's it for today, guys. Sorry if I yapped a lot in this video, that's just my take on it. Check out my last video where I discussed if Alex Pereira could beat DDP. But anyways, thanks for watching, subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Are you a real hardcore fan who loves watching someone lay in half guard for an entire round? Or are you a dirty casual who likes watching strikers and grapplers who try to finish the fight? Let me know in the comments, and share this to every Marab fan you know, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.